Welcome back to Desert Sun Crypto. I'm your host, the Desert Sun. I am back, everyone. Thought these videos were going to end. No way was the Desert Sun to give up. Just need a little break. I was able to get it, come back rested and refreshed. So let's dive into everything that's happened in the last month. Just kidding. I can't summarize everything. I'm just going to go and hit on some of the most how do we say it, most popular and trending things going on right now, which always circle around a Ripple lawsuit, where Bitcoin is at, other rumors that are happening those can wait for another time, but I just want to hit it right off the top and get right into it. Bitcoin, as we sit here tonight, is at 54K. We've got the total market cap at over 2 trillion at 2.32. Now, looking at Bitcoin over the last month, it's done some interesting things. Let's go back a month. Here we had this little dip that happened right about, let's see, the 19th of September, popping up right around the beginning of October. A lot of speculation, rumors about what's going to happen somewhere over here. Not a financial advisor, not financial advice. Just something to keep an eye on where Bitcoin will go. I find it interesting that it's going up as there's all these rumors about this debt ceiling. Call it a crisis. Call it whatever you want. Like I said, I can't speculate anything other than to say this is just an interesting key piece of crypto evidence, we'll say, to watch on what will happen. And we look at the numbers going around. Everything seems to be up. I'll get to my favorite one, XRP, here in a second. But I do want to show some videos and just talk a little bit about what some of the big things that have happened. Now, the World Economic Forum had a really interesting panel 2 weeks ago. I was able to catch one of my favorites, Malcolm Demers, and my crypto wife, and she is talking about the sustainability of cryptocurrencies. Let's hear what she has to say.
Now, the unique thing here is cryptocurrencies allow us to transact and interact in an environment where we can't interact through traditional financial intermediaries. I myself have not used the banking system to send a wire in over a year. I use crypto. I use stable coins on top of the crypto ecosystem. And in fact, many of my peers, including large funds, are no longer using bank wires to send transactions, which will take 3 to 5 days and cost anywhere from $25 to $50.
Did you hear that? There seems to be a trend going on, and it is the beginning of what we're seeing with adoption, peer to peer, business to business. And so this, folks, is just going to be the beginning of a narrative, which is it's going to be faster. It's going to be, it's going to save more energy. With the usage and the adoption of cryptocurrencies going forward. We'll see how regulation, or what, if any, regulation comes out of it, what that does. The other thing is I was able to check. Now, this is from another conference as well. Now, this is a governor from England. Now, we talk about adoption, talk about what people are thinking about it now. With regard to CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, listen to what John Cunliffe had to say.
Standards to which all private participants can adhere, which creates interoperability. I think there's a big question for us, maybe to ask, which is behind your comment, is do we need, apart from the center of the layer cake, if I can put it that way, or the middle layer, or whatever it is, do we actually need publicly issued money for citizens, or can citizens rely on privately issued money, properly regulated, with the highest level being done, or the middle of the layer cake being done by the private sector?
Now, this is interesting. I would say maybe about 2 years ago, if someone had brought up the question of whether or not public uh, money, fiat currency, would ever be replaced by crypto, people would say you were absolutely crazy. But the more that this is being brought up, it just seems to me to be the case that it you get a lot of head nods by a lot of these talking heads in the space with regard to where the direction of payments are going to go. Now, speaking of payments, just the other day, MoneyGram announced a partnership with the Stellar Foundation and their crypto, which is XLM. Now, obviously, there was a spike in price, up 12%. And this is interesting because MoneyGram had built a partnership for about 2 years with XRP. Jed McCaleb, who was former founder of Ripple, now the head over at Stellar, seems to have taken advantage of MoneyGram dropping XRP after this lawsuit that was launched by the SEC. And I think it's interesting that all the talk was about both native tokens, XRP and XLM, being in a bit of some competition. Now, for most people say, well, it's going to be competition. That's a bad thing. No, 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 no. This is a very good thing. This is going to force both companies to be innovative. And MoneyGram, has been around for a while. It's been the how most people have transferred money from one source to the other. So it'll be interesting moving forward what impact this is going to have, or whether it's just symbolic of everything going on right now. But congratulations to Stellar. I hold XLM for transparency, and I like XLM as well. Now, let's jump back over to something that I've talked about many times, and that is this lawsuit that's happened with the SEC. Now with Gary Gensler as the chair, he spoke before Congress. Now, it's really interesting to me how you can have a number of talking heads, politicos, anyone brought before Congress, and they're expected to answer questions. They're grilled, their feet held to the fire. Mr. Gensler, nope, he doesn't have to answer anything. But kudos to Representative Patrick McHenry of North Carolina. He has been on top of it, and I think he is definitely someone who knows what he is talking about. Here's an exchange he had with Gensler earlier this week.
Okay, but filling those gaps. Okay, so along those lines, I think it's important that we have some regime in place under existing law, and I think we have to have clarity in law around what is a digital asset, and I do think. As you noted back in 2018, you noted in your testimony that at the time the SEC did not view Bitcoin and Ether as securities. Is that still your view?
I think you're referring to when I was at MIT, testimony I gave in front of
This committee.
this committee in
For this
2019,
committee.
if I remember. And I was speaking to what the SEC career staff had said. So where the
But I'm
clarity
asking your
is-
view now. I understand all that context. I've done the research, and in fact, I was at that hearing. But is it your view now that that Bitcoin and Ether are not securities?
No, I'm not going to get into any one token, but I think the securities laws are quite clear. If you're
If Gary Gensler says that these things are clear one more time, I just need to put him on blast on Twitter and get an answer out of him. To me, and to many companies, and the 6,000 to 8,000 companies that are out there is no clarity whatsoever. Is it the Wild West? Absolutely, but it's only the Wild West because the SEC has made it that way. And I have no doubt that regulation will be the clarity that everyone has been asking for. And this lawsuit against Ripple is just absolutely asinine. And I think everyone else's insistence on Gary Gensler answering this question, it's not like um, you know, it's something easily for someone to pick up. There's people that just don't understand what crypto is, period. And so, there seems to be um, this misguidance by the SEC. This is going to go on and on until there is some regulation, and then the SEC is going to shift over to the regulation and say, "See, this is exactly what we were saying the whole time." Guarantee it. But there's been more questions and from Congress, and Congress is starting to pick it up and ask the right things. And as Congress is becoming more familiar with crypto, its implications, and the lack of clarity, they're starting to really press the SEC to give us some more clarity on what a security is. This Howey test that will be replaced by what people will be calling the Ripple test will no doubt be popping up. I was referred back to this paper put out by Goldman Sachs. If you want to take a look at it, it's called Digital Assets Beauty is Not in the Eye of the Beholder. And it has some really interesting insights into digital assets. Now, one thing that they lay out in particular is that of some of the next generation decentralized platforms. To name a few, XRP, Algo, Solana, Polkadot, ICP, Ethereum, Hyperledger, and Corda. Now, I encourage you to read this because Goldman Sachs, has kind of been at the forefront of digital assets, digital currencies, and just digitized money across the board for quite some time. And if you look at some of the key players in the financial world, many of them come from Goldman Sachs, including Gary Gensler himself, Steve Mnuchin, just to name a few. Now, they happen to mention Ripple, and I can't help but to bring this up over and over again, is that there are a number of companies who've been called to Capitol Hill, called in the courtroom by the SEC, to name a few, Tesla and Amazon, and they've all made it out the other side. The question you need to ask yourself is what happens if Ripple loses this case? What happens if the SEC loses? More importantly, I think one of the more interesting things to look at is where XRP is as we sit and talk here now. Well, it just jumped earlier today all the way up to 120. And if we look at the all-time high of was it $3 here, just imagine where XRP may have been without this lawsuit. And ultimately, if it's thrown out or we move on, where it'll go. I think that the movement that we've seen as early as the beginning of the year really was a pullback from the lawsuit. And as we've moved on, just a lot of rumors and speculation on this case being dropped. BitBoy Crypto saying that the settlement would come last month, which it didn't. He's now saying it's going to come this month, but you don't need to listen to BitBoy. You don't need to listen to me. You just need to go with your gut, do your research, and hopefully you'll be able to come out on top in this space. Like always, do your research. Follow me as I do mine and share what I can with you. And always, I appreciate you tuning in. I'm so glad to be back. And this is the Desert Sun Crypto. Y'all have a good night, and I will be seeing you soon.